Hello, I'm Beltana. Welcome to the Blue Spark. Today we have singer, songer, guitarist Louis Garou with us, who was raised in the shadows of Appalachia. He's practiced the craft for over 50 years while also conjuring his dark Americana music. A farmer and a poet, Garou weaves tales of goddesses, love and death, revenge, and dark nights of the soul into music that blends folk, rural blues, and backwoods bardic traditions. So we're going to welcome Louis to our show. Hello, Louis.
Well, hello. How are you?
Good. How are you today?
Just fine. It's a beautiful day here. It's windy.
It sounds a little windy. It looks like it's nice, though.
I'm having to hold on to the camera stand so it doesn't fall over.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Well, I grew up, like it says, in the shadows of the Appalachian Mountains in East Tennessee. I spent the majority of my early years working on the farm, helping my grandfather and my father. And when I was a teenager, I began to explore my view of the craft. And also, I started playing in bars. That one's not so much of a thing to be proud of, but that's what I did. And as time went on, I've had a few jobs and stuff, but my love for music, it was always there. And for the past few years, I've been playing pagan events and really enjoying my life. I moved to Arkansas, and I love it here. It's beautiful, and what else to say?
So, where did you grow up? Did you grow up in Arkansas?
No, I grew up in Appalachia. I didn't move here until about 4 years ago, and it's kind of funny. The place I moved when I moved here is one of the event sites where I play. The people were like, "Oh, you're going to move to Arkansas? We'll get you a trailer, or a camp, or something, and just move here to our place." And I stayed there for a couple of years. I love the people. I love the place. Not having running water was kind of a drag, so I decided to look for, you know, a different place. And as it turned out, I found a place within a couple of miles where my friend Krista Chapman Green lives. Krista and I play together almost everywhere that we play. And so that made it a lot easier to get together and practice than when we were 100 miles apart. And prior to that, 600 miles apart.
So you talked a little bit about your grandparents and your ancestry, I noticed on your Facebook the other day. Do you want to talk a little bit about them?
My grandparents on my father's side were German. On one side, my grandfather was actually born in Germany, and after he moved over here, after they immigrated, he met a woman in Appalachia, up where I used to live, who was half Cherokee Indian, and he married her, and she worked until she was till after my father was born. And one day she sat down in her chair and she just never got up. She worked herself to death after having 5 daughters and a son. And so I never knew her. I knew my grandfather. He was a very laid back, very kind, very dangerous old farmer. And he helped raise me. My father, of course, worked. My mother worked. My other grandparents, her parents, did most of the raising. So there was a lot of push to become educated and a lot of push to go to church. The education it took, the church not so much.
Mm-hmm.
They asked me to leave the church when I was 14 years old.
And, they asked you to leave.
Well, the preacher there, who later ran off with one of the parishioners, didn't feel that I was anything but just a disruptor, someone who asked questions that didn't need to be asked. I think there are a lot of pagan people who share that same thing happening to them. That at some point they ask one question too many, or they voice their opinion one time too many, and it's like we don't need people like that here in our church, because what if the other children start asking questions? How are we going to
Right.
get money out of them when they grow up?
My gosh.
That's what I
Well,
think.
how does your spirituality interact with your music, and how are you inspired so by
There's,
things like
there's,
wolves and crows and Persephone?
that's just it. There's no line between them. My spirituality feeds off of my music, and the music feeds off of the spirituality, because that's what mostly I write about. Occasionally, I'll write something that's not, just because I get something in my mind. Um,
Hmm.
you're familiar, of course, with the Red album,
Yes.
and I've dropped out of the project because I couldn't come up with anything, because I can't just sit down and say, "Hey, I'm going to write a song about cutting firewood or about the injustice in the world." It doesn't come to me that way. All my music stems from dreams and my subconscious. Everything that I write that I like comes from there. And a month into the project, I woke up one morning. Fortunately, my guitar was on the bed next to me. And I got the guitar and I got my pen and I began to write furiously. And in about 10 minutes, I had the song written and the music laid out for the song that I've recorded to put on the Red album. And
Hmm.
it's a very simple song, about a woman who, we never find out in the song exactly what happened that she got pregnant, but it was basically going to ruin her life. And in the end, it does. And I feel very strongly about the project. I'm not going to talk about it anymore because I know we're still keeping things under wrap. But
That's okay. We can talk about it now.
I was very happy that I was welcomed back into the group. I had a couple of people who read the words and said, "Oh, you need to get that on the Red album." So I submitted it, and it's on there.
Oh, so it is going to be on there.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, wonderful. Oh, good,
yeah.
good. What's the name of the song?
Damn it, that's not the name of the song. Oh,
Damn it.
it's a double negative. A lot of my songs have double negatives in them. It's called "There Ain't Nothing Holy But the Blood,"
Ooh.
and
So, how do you feel about all of this?
the world we live in sucks. That's how I feel about it, and a lot of that is because of, I don't want to mention any particular religious group because I don't have to, but they're constant, constant trying to take over. And so we have a Christo fascist nation, which is not what most of us want. And of course, I've lived in the Bible Belt my entire life, so I've been dealing with this. But it just seems like in the last few years, since our previous president was elected, it's gotten a whole lot worse. And it always gets worse for the women. No matter what happens, it always gets worse for the women, because these white Christian men are so afraid of women. Y'all are scary. Look at you. And I've never gotten it. When I grew up, my dad, for all his faults, when I was a little boy, I didn't understand why we had to wash the dishes every night. And he finally told me. He said, "The reason we do housework is because your mama gets up every morning after she takes you to school and she goes and works in Knoxville. And when she comes home, she cooks dinner." He said, "So the least that we can do is to wash the dishes and clean the house." Now, my father was a full time farmer and often had a full time job also. So he loved my mom a lot, but he also understood that it had to be a balanced world. You had to have men and women on equal ground. Now, all my aunts, I didn't get along with any of them, but they were the same way. These were strong mountain women who weren't
Mm.
afraid to tell you what they thought. And if the husband got out of line, they were liable to just knock him upside the head. And so we were the only ones in the family that I know of that acted that way. But that stuck with me. His treatment of my mom and women in general, it set the foundation for how I view the world as far as men and women go. And that's another reason this project is important to me, because I feel like that there's so little equality, and especially since they've, done away with Roe versus Wade. It's like I don't understand how that can happen.
Yeah, I think it was pretty shocking to a lot of us. But I know that I speak for a lot of women when I say that we are very honored to see men like you and our brothers standing up with us for the injustices that we feel that this is.
Well, thank you. And it is. That's the correct word. It's an injustice. But it's not just an injustice. It changes the whole life of women. When you're growing up, if you have to worry about, oh, what if I get pregnant? And then on top of that, what if there's nothing I can do about it? What if I'm stuck, And it's going to change their whole life, and it may kill them. And these people that are in charge, they don't give a damn, not one damn. And they don't care what you think, and they don't care about what I think.
I agree. Hopefully what we're doing here is going to make a difference. I think it will. I really do. I think putting that magic out into the universe.
I think that that's the kind of thing that needs to be done. It needs to be done on a larger scale than we, the 19 of us that are involved in it, can do. But it's a step, and every step helps. So we'll do what we can do.
Right on. I love it. I can't wait until it comes out.
Well, I can't either. I'm very anxious to hear what everybody else has done.
Me too. I'm excited.
Because all I've heard are what I've done and what Krista has done. And I'm very happy with both our songs.
Oh, good.
They're both great. Very simple, and the message is easy to understand.
That's great. I'm so looking forward to when the album is finally released this summer. And I think it's going to be very exciting. I think we're going to do some really good things.
I think so.
So I have a question for you musically. What all instrumentation do you play? Did you play the piano on Dream Walking at Night?
Yes, I did.
Did you?
Yeah. And you know what's funny? I don't play piano at all.
Oh, it's beautiful.
But I do know where the notes are. And I have a friend back in East Tennessee that he listened to the CD, and he was like, "You are the most dishonorable man I have ever met in my life." And I said, "What?" And he said, "It says on there that you played the keyboards." I said, "I did." "Well, you don't play piano." And I said, "Well, I played on that one." He said, "Well, I don't see how you could do that," because he said you played better than I played. And I could have been insulting, but I didn't. But see, he doesn't understand digital recording either. I didn't play it all at the same time. Uh-oh.
That's okay. That's how people do songs sometimes.
I know. I was trying for a little humor. We live and die in the light. Sometimes we must stand in the shadows. I need the darkness to survive the light. Living and dreaming, walking in the night. Let your eyes adjust to the starlight. Taste the colors in the air. Stand as still as death, it just feels right. going, dream walking in the night. Am I awake or am I just dreaming? I hear people talking and people screaming. Dream walking, turn out the lights. Dream walking in the night. Dream walking in the night. Dream walking in the night. Walking in the shadows of the night. Walking in the shadows of the night. But I look at it from the standpoint that I know what I want stuff to sound like, and so I do that. No matter what I have to do, I can make it work. And it's getting easier and easier. Now I don't have any of the software to do anything digitally more than I do right now, and I don't know that I have enough intelligence to learn to use that software. So I'm just going to stick to what I did. The last album that I did, there's nothing in it except my guitars and the bass and vocals, and that's it. I could have put some other stuff in, but I just feel like it's a more honest, easier to understand piece if there's not a lot of distractions in it. And you're not ever going to see me do anything that's got 20 tracks on it. Not gonna happen.
Well, that's honest. That's real. That's genuine. I appreciate that as the singer songwriter to keep it simple.
Well, Krista and I we've talked about this in great detail, and she feels the same way. As a matter of fact, she would prefer if she could just sing her song and play her guitar, and we could record it, and that would be it. And she's gotten down now. She understands how the recording process works. She's very good at it. She has a great ear, a better ear than I do. And that's still what she wants is one guitar, maybe two, and her vocal, because her songs are written that way. And I can't argue with that because that's pretty close to what I do. And a lot of the
think
music
Krista's amazing.
Is similar. Oh, she is. She's one of the best singers that I've ever worked with, and I've been working.
Absolutely. Go ahead. No, you go ahead. So do you guys record your own music within your own studio, or do you go to another studio to record?
No, we've done everything here. When I moved down here from Russellville, from Hidden Acres Farms, the building that I was living in then, I was going to move down here right then, when I found a piece of property. But the piece of property I ended up buying had a little house on it, and so I just moved in because it worked, and there was plumbing. Do you know
Mm.
what it's like to go for 2 or 3 years and not have running water, and suddenly to have the luxury of running water? And even though nothing was done correctly there, it was okay. I made it work. But I have now moved the other building down and attached it, and that's our studio.
Oh, okay. So you have your
And
own dedicated space.
yes, where we were recording before, we were doing everything in Russellville. And we did a few things here at Krista's house because my studio is very easy to move. And but it's set up now where we are, where we can just go in and turn everything on and work.
Nice. So what are some of your favorite songs that you've recorded and that you perform?
The wind was blowing. I think you asked me what my favorite songs were.
A couple of your favorite songs that
The-
you've written and that you play a lot.
My favorite song that I have written is "Wolf at the Door." It's "Where Can the Wolf Survive." Krista generally sings it now. She's taken it over, and I'm gonna let her because she does a hell of a lot better job on it than I do. And it's it's a really, to me, it's a really good story. And the second one, and I love to tell the story about this, is called "Just My Other Side." Um, when I moved out from where I was living in Tennessee originally about 5 years ago, I moved into another cabin. There was no furniture there except an old wooden chair,
Hmm.
and there was a wood stove. Moved in, it was cold. I built a fire, sat down, immediately went to sleep because I'd been moving equipment all day long. And when I woke up, my notebook was in my lap, and this song was written in. Now I'm completely unconscious to this day of writing that song. I know I
Wow.
wrote it. I know I wrote it because it's my handwriting, and I'm the only one that can read it. But it is my favorite of all my songs as far as what's going on in the song. And I love the song. It took me a long time before I could do it without having tears get all the way through
Oh
it.
my
I've
gosh.
got 2 or 3 songs like that that affect me. But those are two of my favorite songs that I've written. And there's a couple of characters that I use, and they're both in those 2 songs. The wolf, who I call, and it's a very original name. I call him Wolf, and Darkness. And in some of the songs, if you listen to them, there's 5 or 6 songs that have the line "Darkness is my name" because that is
Hmm.
her name, and they are, in my mind, reincarnated lovers that through the millennia they keep coming back and they keep finding each other. And she's constantly aggravated because he always dies first because he's
Oh.
and so there's a couple of songs about, I call them the death songs, about that, where he's either bemoaning the fact that he's gonna die and she's gonna be pissed off. Can I say that?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Too late. And the other one where she won't let him die. And so there, those stories go together, but I I'm not quite right mentally, and I actually believe that they live in my head. So
Hmm? Well, who
um,
knows?
I get a lot of what I write from the dreams that I have, and they're in a lot of the dreams that I have. So that's just the way it goes.
That's surreal. I appreciate that you embrace the dark and the shadowy in your music and your art and your craft. You know, not a lot of people really embrace that as fully as I think that I've seen you do. And I think it's really cool when you perform and how much passion and energy you put into it.
Well, thank you. Um, when I started studying witchcraft. It back in the early '70s, like 1970. It's been a long time, you know. There wasn't a lot of stuff available, especially if you lived in a rural area in Tennessee, that you could read that had a lot of good information in it. And so, with what little I could find to read, I just did what felt right to me, which is
Hmm.
pretty much how I still practice. Now, I've gotten a little bit more sophisticated in the last 20 years because I met some people who were pagan-ish, and then I met some real pagans and people that I know are witches, and they helped me to learn a lot of things that some I thought about, some I hadn't thought about. But
Right.
it's been a long, strange journey, as has been said.
So, do you prefer to practice magic on your own or with a group or
I've never
both?
practiced with a group. I've always been solitary, and
So, when you go
it
to pagan festivals, do you not go to the main rituals or the rituals? No.
no, I may go and stand respectfully, but I don't participate. Um, I'm not a lot of the time. I'm not even sure what's going on. It seems like a lot of the time it seems like a lot of pageantry and a lot of, I don't want to use the word distraction. Uh, there's a lot of tools that a lot of people are a lot of people require to focus on their magic.
Hmm.
And one of the people that I learned a lot from told me, she said, you don't need any of that. If it helps you, it's great, but you don't need any of it because every bit of the magic that you create, you can summon, you can use, is all inside you.
Hmm.
And she said it lives in the same place your ancestors do.
Wow.
So that's what I believe.
So, do you feel a magical connection to the land that you live on now as opposed to where you kind of came from?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. It's not up in the mountains like where I live, but there are lots of the same vegetation, and it's very familiar to me. There's
Wow.
not very much difference. Um, I miss that property. It was a magical place, and I put a lot of work into it, but I felt stagnant,
Hmm.
and I was working myself to death. The doctors told me after I had my heart attack, well, they claim had a heart attack.
Goodness.
They told me, they said, you can't farm anymore. You can't be on a tractor. You can't use a chainsaw, and that kind of made it impossible for me to live there and to maintain the place. So after
Right.
everything was said and done and the property was divided up, I moved here to where I have friends that I can count on, and Arkansas is my home now.
Wonderful. I like Arkansas a lot. I don't get there as often as I'd like to, but I think it's got a real, very ancient, ghosty kind of charm to it.
It does. It does. There's not that much difference between Missouri and Arkansas.
It's a lot.
And
It's a lot alike.
it is. And of course, we
So,
both have the same impressive
do you have any
country.
other stories that you'd like to share? Anything?
Seriously.
Sure.
I don't know if you've ever seen the, the commercial where it's from the Marvel movies that Loki and I think the guy's name is Mobius, Mobius, are riding on an elevator. And Loki looks at him and he says, talking. He said, oh, come on. He said, we know you love to talk. Talk, 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 talk. And that cracks me up. Like that. Once you get me started talking, um, finally, I will tell you stories until you want me to leave. And especially since I don't have my guitar, I have nothing else to do but tell you stories. And they're
All right.
98% true. 98% true.
Only.
I leave myself just a little to add the humor, you know, because I try to be funny. I'll try harder as we go
You
along.
are funny. I think you're hilarious.
Anyway, so I've told you the stories about some of the stories about growing up and where I live now, and where I lived then, and I come from a weird background of immigrants and Native Americans, and I am where I am. I am what I am.
Right on. Well, where are you going to be playing this summer? Do you have any idea?
The bigger events that we're going to be at, we're well, medium big events. We're going to be at Enchanted. Let me see if I can say this: the Enchanted Metaphysical and Mystics Market, which is going to be in Conway the last weekend in April. We've played for them before. We've got a couple of days to play there. Love that place because they've got so much stuff I can't afford that I'd love to have. Because even though I don't need that stuff to practice, it's so nice to have crystals, crystal
Oh,
balls,
temptation.
books. And I've got a lot of friends that are really artisans. And I love going and talking to them and seeing their stuff. Love a lot of the people that are there. And then in May, I can't remember the date. It's toward the end of the month. We're going to be playing at Harmony in the Hollow at Hidden
Mm.
Acres Farms, where I lived previously. SJ is going to be playing on Saturday night. And
Oh.
then when she's done, Krista and I are going to take the stage.
Ooh.
So I look forward
That'll
to
be
that.
magical.
I have never gotten to see her live. I've seen, videos, and I've seen stuff where she's online, but that's not the same as being there.
Well,
And
you are in for a treat.
well, I know. And so we're looking forward to that. And in June we've got an event. It's an 8-day event, but we can't talk about it yet because it's not been announced.
I understand.
I know. And so we're going to be there playing. And if Krista was here, she could name off every place we're playing and the dates and all. I'm done at that point. I can remember 3. That's it. I know that
Well,
we're
if
going
you get me the links to all of the places that you and or her or you guys together or however you're doing it are playing this summer, then I would be happy to put them up when we air this.
to. Okay.
And okay,
I will get you that information.
that would be
Um,
great. I'm going to go
if
ahead and
I
put up
had,
a banner for the Red album real quick, just so people
okay,
know where to go to check out your bio and learn a little bit more about what's going on with the Red album and what we're all doing toward that end. And then if you have any other links or anything that you need to send me, just let me know.
I will.
And well, let's see. Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about or anything else that you want people to know about you?
I don't know. I may have shared too much already.
No.
I I don't know. I mean, what to me is my life and fascinating to me is probably boring to other people because it doesn't have anything to do with it. And I've told you about everything that makes any difference as far as my music goes. Obviously, I don't like to brush my hair, and no, it's the wind. I swear. But
Nature.
I just go and I play my music. We play our music, and we enjoy that more than anything.
You can tell. And I know that people really enjoy listening to you. I remember you guys last summer in June at our summer solstice event, um, where you guys played, and it was just, I mean, it's magical. You guys are just amazing together and separately. You guys are both just, I don't know. If you haven't seen Louis and or Krista, you need to please get out and see both of them because they're just
Yeah,
truly amazing.
absolutely, absolutely. And we love to see most of you.
I think we'll be seeing you in June at least.
I
And
think so.
hopefully by the time this airs, we can actually talk about where that will be.
Well, we are going to apparently we're going to do a class or two the unknown event.
Ooh, good
And
deal.
I think I can't remember what she's doing her class on, so I will not say. I know that she and I are doing a class together, something about music, and I'm doing one on guitar magic.
Ooh.
So if you come, don't bother bringing a guitar because you won't learn a thing.
Okay.
No,
Well, I
I'm
know that.
you might learn a note, one note, but it's all about vibration.
Ooh.
And anyway, so if you have any more questions, go ahead and ask.
Thank you. Well, I just wanted to let you know that my daughter had a really wonderful time at your presentation, your workshop last year.
Well,
She really appreciated coming away with an original song that she sang for the first time ever in front of anyone, and she just raved about it. So she wanted you
we
to know that.
enjoyed meeting her, and we enjoyed her song.
Oh,
It's obvious where she gets her talent.
no. She's much more talented than I, that is for sure.
Well,
There is no doubt about it. The next generation, they're coming up. They're going to take over. Uh-oh.
well, I enjoy listening to the young people and listening to their view on things. Don't always agree with it, but I'm always open to hearing new music and new styles of music.
Me too. Well, I hope we get to camp together and see each other and play songs with each other at least at some point this summer.
I believe we will.
I believe we will too. Well, thank you so much, Louis. I really appreciate your time, and I appreciate you standing out there in the wind.
Oh no, I couldn't stand up that long. Do you not know why I sit down when we're on stage?
No.
Because if I stand up for 45 minutes, I may fall over because
Oh.
I don't have good balance anymore, and plus I can't see my music stand. But the main thing, and I've told people this because I get it. It's like, well, why don't you stand up? Well, why don't you mind your own business?
Right.
But
Yeah.
I don't mind falling. I've fallen hundreds of times in my life. I know how to fall. But I would be heartbroken if I fell and broke that guitar. That's my main concern about standing up.
Listen to you.
It's a bit. No, I'm serious. I would never be able to afford another guitar as good as Ashlyn is. And
What's your guitar's name?
Ashlyn,
Oh, that's pretty.
AISLIN. Vision, Dreams, Scotch Irish. Anyway,
nice.
The biggest thing to me is to try not to do any damage and to do as well as I can when we're playing. That's it. And I don't know what else I can do to make the world any better.
Oh, God. Well, I think you do it very well.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say hello to the river for a while and take a little break myself because I've had a pretty long day here too. But I'm so happy to see you, and I'm so glad that we did this together. And hopefully we can all do it again, maybe with you and Krista in the future together.
Hopefully so.
I think that would be fun. Me too. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Sister, oh my sister, where you going? Sister, where you gonna go? She said, I'm going out into the wastelands. I'm going down, down, down to the crossroads. I'm going down, down, down to the crossroads. Sister, oh my sister, why you leaving? Little sister, where you gonna go? She said, I'm going out into the darkness. I'm gonna meet somebody down by the crossroads. I'm gonna meet somebody down by the crossroads. He said, brother, leave a light on. Brother, light a candle up for me. When I come back up out of that darkness, ain't nobody around here gonna recognize me. Ain't nobody around here gonna recognize me. Sister, oh my sister, why you leaving? Little sister, where you gonna go? She said, I'm going out, I'm gonna do some business. I'm gonna dance with the devil down at the crossroads. I'm gonna dance with the devil down at the crossroads. Said, brother, leave a light on. Brother, light a candle up for me. When I come back up out of that darkness, ain't nobody around here gonna recognize me. Ain't nobody around here gonna recognize me. Ain't nobody around here gonna recognize me. Been living up here in my lonely cabin after the cold of the winter came. I saw her outside standing in the shadows. She whispered, darkness is my name. Come, and I said, and sit here by my fire. She seemed surprised I'd ask her in. Then I blew out that single candle so our conversation could begin. She said, why do you fear my darkness? I said, why do you fear the light? You're wrong, she said, I don't fear it. It's just my other side. It's just my other side. We talked and talked until the morning. She laid her calloused hands on mine. She said, can I stay here in your dark cabin while outside my brother brightly shines? So we sat here in the darkness. I got us with a sad, beguiling laugh, and I began to embrace the shadows. She led me down a different path. why do you fear my darkness? I said, why do you fear the light? You're wrong, she said, I don't fear it. It's just my other side. It's just my other side. I still live up here on this cold mountain. She sometimes comes and visits me. I'll blow out all my candles. She smiles and says, you still remember me. See that you don't fear my darkness anymore. I say, as you never feared the light. You're right, says she, we don't have to fear it. It's just our other side. It's just our other side. It's just our other side.